तो आज मैं पढ़ूंगा जियोग्राफी का जो था इंडियन जियोग्राफी ह्यूमन एंड द इकोनॉमिक जियोग्राफी इसके बारे में पढ़ूंगा। इंडियन लोकेशन स्ट्रक्चर एंड द फिजियोग्राफी। Indian geography overview. Land area and the coastline. India spans 3.28 million square kilometer, covering 2.4% of the world total area, with the coastline of the 6,010 kilometer on the mainland and the 6,000 and the 7,515 kilometer including the Iceland group of Andaman and Nicobar, Lakshadweep. India has the longest coastline among Indian Ocean, the littoral countries. Territorial water extends 12 nautical miles, 22.2 km from the coast. Geographical extent. The longitudinal extent from 6 degree 8 north Kanyakumari to 37 degree 6 north Ladakh, spanning the approximate 3,200 km. Longitudinal extent from the 68 degree 7 east Gujarat to 97 degree 25 is Arunachal Pradesh, covering about 2,900 किलोमीटर। ये क्वेश्चन आया था यूपीएससी 2015 में। के जियोग्राफिकल पॉइंट, साउदर्न मोस्ट mainland point कन्याकुमारी, नॉर्दर्न मोस्ट पॉइंट इंद्राकोल বা কারাকোরাম রেঞ্জ, southernmost point Indian Union Indira Point submerged during the 2004 tsunami lies in the Great Nicobar Islands, separate from the Indonesia by the 6-degree channel. Neighboring countries, land neighbors. India shared the border with the Pakistan and Afghanistan through the Ukwan corridor. In the northwest, China, Nepal and Bhutan in the north and Myanmar and Bangladesh in the east. India shares it is the longest land border with Bangladesh, covered by the China and Pakistan. Iceland neighbors. Sri Lanka, separated by the Gulf of Mannar. Sri Lanka is separated by the Gulf of Mannar and the Palk Strait. Maldives, separate from the Lakshadweep Island by the 8-degree channel. Significant latitude and longitude. Tropic of Cancer 23 degree 27 north passes through the 8 Indian states. Gujarat, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, West Bengal, Tripura and Mizoram. Maximum passes east through the Madhya Pradesh with the Rajasthan having the short sections. The Mahi River cross the Tropic of Cancer twice. The capital city to this latitude including the Ranchi, Jharkhand in the south and the Jaipur, Rajasthan, Agartala, Tripura and the Aizawl, Mizoram in the north. Agartala is the closest city to Tropic of Cancer. Standard meridians of the Indian 82 degree to 30 is the longitude defines the Indian the standard times the IST, ensuring the uniform times across the country. It crosses the eastern of the Uttar Pradesh, Mirzapur, Chhattisgarh, Odisha, Madhya Pradesh and Andhra Pradesh with Raipur, Chhattisgarh being the closest capital city to the meridian. climatic zone. The Tropic of the Cancer divided into two main the climatic zone. Tropic zone located west of the Tropic of the Cancer. This area uh, experiences a generally warmer climate. Subtropical zone. The northern Indian lands in the zones uh, ex- experientially more the bears the seasonal temperature changing than the tropic zone. Structure and the physiography. The Indian plate once the located south to the equator and the part of the last entry including the Australian plate fragment and the shifted the northward leading to the development of the following the geographical divisions of India. And major geographical divisions of India, the Himalayas. The Himalayas are the majestic mountain range were the formed due to the collisions of the Indian and the Eurasian tectonic plates. Tectonic plates. The Himalaya compress three parallel ranges with uh, the Himalayas compress three parallel ranges. The Attar Himalaya, Siwaliks, characterized by the low hills and the valley. The lesser Himalayas, the Himachal, composed of the sedimentary and the mantropic rocks and the housing hill stations like the Shimla and the Mussoorie, and the greater Himalayas, Himadri, the highest range with the peak like the Mount Everest from the Grand and the crystalline rock. The Himalayas are the source of the major river system like the Indus, Ganga and the Brahmaputra. The Indo-Ganga Brahmaputra plain. Originally, this area was the uh, synclinal depressions. These plains were the gradually filled with the sediment alluvial deposit carried by the Indus, Ganga and the Brahmaputra river. The peninsular block, northern boundary, irregular lines the extending from the Caucasus along the western flank of the Aravalli range near Delhi and containing roughly parallel to the Yamuna and the Ganga until the reaching the Ras Mahal hills and the Ganga Delta. Also, the encompass the extensions the Karbi along Meghalaya and the Rajasthan, composed mainly of the ancient Genesis and the Grantes. Block remained stable since the Cambrian period that despite tectonic activities, oldest physiographic features, the expansions varies the vertical movement amount and the block movement and the block fuel tank. With the geographical features, the Reef Valley like the Narmada, Tapi and the Mahanadi, Satpura Block Mountains and the mountain ranges such as the Aravalli, Nalamala, Zabhadi, Belikonda, Palkonda and the Mahendragiri areas is following the river create the shallow valleys and from the significant deltas, such as this of the Mahanadi, Krishna, Kaveri, and the Godavari. Tectonic activities has the led to be the submergence of the parts of the western coast. Physiography of Indian. Physiography is the result of the geological structure, the ongoing process, and the developmental stage that showcases Indians the diverse physical features. Based on this, the macro variations Indian can be divided into the following the physiographic division: the northern and the northeastern mountain, the northern plain, the peninsular plateau, the Indian desert, the coastal plain, and the land, the Iceland. Northern and the northeastern mountain. The northern and the northeastern mountain are uh, represented by the Himalayas and their eastern extension and the Purbanchal hill. ये क्वेश्चन आया था यूपीएससी 2017 में. Northern and the northeastern mountain. The northern and the northeastern mountain are represented by the Himalayas and their eastern extensions, the Purbanchal hills. These ranges are the Yongfold mountains and the showcase the range of the geological and the ecological features. The Trans-Himalayan mountain range by regions, also known as the Tibet Himalayan region, is situated to the north of the Great Himalayas and including the mountain range of the Karakoram, Ladakh, Jaskar, and the Kailas. The Karakoram range is always known as the backbone of the High Asia. North-South division of Himalayan. The Himalayan range composition characteristic and the peak passes and out feature. Great Himalaya, Inner Himalaya, यूपीएससी में ये क्वेश्चन आया था 2012 में. Center crystalline grain and the geniuses overlain by the metrophonous sediment. Lofi's and the most continuous range, the average elevation 6,100 meter. Asymmetrical float with the steep southern slope, the convex shape terminate abruptly at the Naga Parbat and the Namsa Bharwa. Mount Peak, Mount Everest, Kanchenjunga, Hotse, Makulu, and the Daulangri, Nanda Devi, and the Tishul extra. Passes the Jamuna and Kashmir, Jozila, Burzila Pass, Himachal Pradesh, Baralasala, Sipkila, Uttarakhand, Niti Pass, Lipulak, and the Sikkim, Nathula, and the Jilapla. Other features, home to the glacier, that is the Siachen Boltura, significant valley of the Kashmir Valley, and the Lizard Himalayas, the Middle Himalayas, sedimentary rocks and the volcanic rocks, Panjal Range, elevated and the 1,500 to 4,500 meter, regulated terrain with the valleys, the Kashmir, Kullu, and the Rongra, contain the famous hill, the stations, the Simla, Mussoorie, and the Dharmshala. Peak, the Naga Tibba and the Mahabharat Leh. Pir Pranjal Pass and the Banihal Pass and the Golabgar Pass. Major river like the Jhilam, Bees, and the Senap cut through this the range. Shivalik, Utter Himalayas. Pleistocene sand and the gravels and uh, conglomerates deposited by the river. Low altitude runs 900 to 1000 by 1100 meter. Characterized by the Drang, Dehradun, Kotli Dun, and the seasonal stream source. No major peak, no major pass. Format after the Great and the Lesser Himalaya, the scrub and anticlinal crust dominate the landscape. East-west division of Himalaya. Region key range and the peak passes and the other fisheries. And the Kashmir or the northwestern Himalaya. Key range Karakoram, Ladakh, Zaskar, Pir Panjal. Peak K2, Nanga Parbat and the Geshorbram Rakaposhi. Passes Zozila, Banihal, Kardungla and the Potula. Other features valleys of the Kashmir, Dalak, Walar Lake and the Pyongyang, Cho, Ladakh and the Kariwas for the saffron cultivation, the Valtrona and the Siasan Glacier north of the Nabla Valley. UPSC A question at the 2020 May. Sangpa tribes found in the Sangtang is a high plateau that stretches across the cold desert of the Ladakh. They are the Pashmina gods at the yield and the fine wool. They are the curve in the categories of the scheduled tribes. Here question be at the UPSC 2014 May. Pilgrimage cities and the Vaishnavi Devi. Himachal and the Uttarakhand Himalayas. The Great Himalayas, Lesser Himalayas, Dauladhar Nag, Tibba and the Shivalik. Kamat Nanda Devi, Kedarnath, Trishur and the Bandra Pons. ये question at the UPSC 2022 में. Lipu Lake Niti Pass and the Baralasa Pass. Famous valley, that is the valleys of the follower hill station, the Simla, Panikat, Mussoorie. Pilgrim city and the Badrinath, Kedarnath and the Nepal Himalayas and the Mahabharat range, the Surya range and the Dhaulagiri Everest, the Annapurna Makulu, no significant bands. The tallest extent of the Himalayas, the famous of the plantation in the southern foothills, Darjeeling and the Sikkim Himalaya. Kanchenjunga Mahabharat range, the Kanchenjunga 8,586 meter. Jelala and the Nathula, tea plantations and the orchid diversities, Lapsa tribes reside here. And the Arunachal Himalayas, Patkai Bam, Naga Hills and the Abor Hills, Namsa Barwa and the Kantu. Kangtu, UPSC 2023 में आया था. Diffu Pass, tribal group, the Mono, Abor and the Mishmi. Shifting the cultivation zoom is the practice. Purbanchal Hills and the mountain. Saprans, composition, characteristics and the peaks and other features. Patkai Bam, dejected hill with the dance the forest. Characteristics. The from the boundary between the Arunachal Pradesh and Myanmar, no major peak. Naga Hills, igneous and the metropic rocks acts as the watershed between the Indian and Myanmar. Mount Saramati and the practiced by the tribal groups the Zoom cultivation. Manipur Hills, the Satmari rocks and the Kele deposit. The southward extension of the Naga Hills. Boreal Range separate it from the Naga Hills. Mount Tempu is the highest peak of the Manipur present in the Boreal Range, characterized by the narrow valley and the moderate elevation. Mizo Hills, the Lusai, unconsolidated, the sedimentary rocks and the Molasai Basin. The characterized by the Blue Mountains, Pawang Phui, the highest peak. The Blue Mountain and the Pawang Phui, known for the tribal population and the practice of the Zoom cultivation. Important Himalayan glacier. Glacier name, location and the important features. Siasan, Karakoram and the important feature, the largest in the Nubra Valley of the Himalayas, second longest glacier outside the polar region. Baifo, location and Karakoram, the Baltistan region, Ladakh, flow into the Shinga River. Sogolungma, Karakoram, location in the Gilgit Baltistan. Gangotri, Uttarakhand, originate below the Sakhamba peak, also known as the Gumok Rimo, Siachen area, Ladakh, drains into the Siok River. Hispar, Galgit, Baltistan, world longest glacial system. Jemu, Sikkim, Nepal, largest glacier in the eastern Himalaya feed the river Tista. Sonapani, the Sondro Valley, the Lahual and the Spit, Himachal Pradesh, the longest glacier in the Pir Panjal range near the Rohtak Pass. Milam, Uttarakhand, major source of the river the Gori Ganga, biggest the glacier of the Kumon Himalaya. Rupal, Kashmir, location in the Greater Himalayan for the northeast. The Gangri, the Nonkon, the Himalayas range, the largest glacier in the Nonkon mountains. And the Barashigri, Chandravali, the Lahual, Himachal Pradesh, the second longest glacier in the Himalayas, the sources of the water in the river, the Senap antimony deposit. Dayamir, Nanga Parbat, Kashmir, Pakistan occupied. The location in the Dayamir mountains known as the King of Mountain. Pindari, Common region and Uttarakhand gives research to the river Pindari. Changkumdan, Karakoram, Ladakh, feed and the process at the threat to the Sayok River due to the potential blocking. The northern plains of India. The northern plains are the expensive alluvial deposit from the three major river systems, the Indus and the Ganga and the Brahmaputra. Along with their the tributaries, they are affluent and characterized by the fertile evolution soil and the general evolutions of 50 to 150 meter and are the agriculturally productive due to the rich riverline deposit. Broad divisions of the northern plain. Division, geographical extent, fisheries and the significant fisheries. Western part Punjab plain, geographical extent, dominated by the Dove fertile land between the two rivers. This is the Falan lie, the Parmelit in the Punjab and the Haryana. Features the fertile the agricultural land formed by the conference by the tributaries of the Indus River system, including the Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Bees, and the Setlas. Significant feature known for the intensive farming. Central part the Ganga plain, the separate between the Khagrar and the Tista river of the covering Haryana, Delhi, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Jharkhand, and West Bengal. Fertile plains the dominate the Ganga, and it is the tributary with the sandbars, oxbow, lake, and the Mindars and the Braders stream. Haryana and the Delhi act as the water divided into between the Indus and the Ganga system. Eastern part Brahmaputra plain found primarily in Assam. Characterized by the riverlines, island, the sandbar, and the periodic flood, the shifting the channel from the braided stream and the deltas. Majoli, Brahmaputra is the world's largest inhabited riverine island. Brahmaputra turned the sharply the southward at Dhupri, Assam, before the entering Bangladesh. Deltaic fissures. The mount of the river. This the river from the last deltas. Sundarban Delta, formed by the Ganga and Brahmaputra river, it is the largest delta in the world, reaches in the biodiversity. North-south divisions of the northern plain. The northern plains are the fissures that divided into two zones running the parallel into the Siwalik foothills and the north to south. Zone Bhabur discrimination is the narrow belt at 16 km wide, lying the parallel to the Siwalik slopes where the river the deposit rock and the boulders. After the descendings from the mountain and the fissures, porous regions where the stream that disappear and the quarries the material depositions, and notable areas and fissures found along the west of the Siwak Lake. Tarai, wet Sampai, and the marshy land where the stream and the river re-emerge without well-defined channel. Fissures, thickly forest region rich in biodiversity. Notable areas the fissures. Dudua and the national park is located in this region. Alluvial plain, Bhangar and the Khadar. The composed of the fertile alluvial soil with the relief fissures like the sandbar, oxbow, and the lake and the mandrars. Bhangar, older alluvial deposit the calcareous the concur in the nature. Khadar, younger flat plain deposit more fertile and the regularly renewed. The Khadar being more the fertile is the idea for the intensive agriculture, while the Bhangar is the suitable for less the intensive agriculture. Key geographical feature, relief feature, sandbar, oxbow lake, and the Minbar braided stream and the Riverine Island. Majoli Island, larger riverine island located in the Brahmaputra River Dove. The fertile tract of the land lying between two rivers, the essential from agriculture in the region. Peninsular Plateau. The Peninsular Plateau is an ancient tableland composed of the crystalline igneous and the metamorphic rocks fissures in the general elevations that the slopes It extends from the Delhi Ridges in at the northwest and the extensions of the elephant to the Cardamom Hills in the south, with other than notable features like the Rasmahal Hills in the east and the Gir Range in the west, and the extensions is also the object in the northeast, encompassing the Meghalaya Plateau, Shillong, and the Karbi Anglong Plateau. Bolok has remained the stable since the Cambrian period, despite the tectonic activities. Oldest physiography features experiences various the vertical movement and the block faulting with the geological features. Rip Valley, likely the Narmada, Tapti, and Mahanandi, Satpura Block Mountain, and the mountain range such as the Aravali, Nalamala, Javadi, Bilikonda, Palkonda, and the Mahendragiri area is following river create the shallow valley and from the significant deltas such as those of the Mahanandi, Krishna, Kaveri, and the Godavari. The tectonic activities has led to the submergence of the part of the western coast. The region that showcases the various the physiographic features such as the tours below the mountain, reef valley, the spur, the Himaki hills, and the quartzite draki that the naturally store water the Patland Plateau, including the Hazaribagh, Palamu, Ranchi, Malwa, Coimbatore, and the Karnataka Plateau. Division of the peninsular Plateau. Division the Deccan Plateau. Boundaries and extent. Western Ghat, West, Eastern Ghat, East, Satpura, Michael, and the Mahadev Hill North. Key fisheries. Subdivision. Satpura Range, Maharashtra Plateau, and the Karnataka, Dharwad Plateau, Telangana Plateau. Satpura Range, highly denuded, and the Scarpet Plateau. Central Highland. Aravalli Range, West, Vindhya Range, South, and Rajamahal Hills, Eastern Extension. Key fisheries. Elevation 700 to 1000 meters sloping toward the north and northeast. Includes the Bandulkant and the Bhagwelkant and the Malwa Plateau. River Chambal, Saint, Betua, and Can, Banas. Northeastern Plateau, extension of the peninsular plateau into Meghalaya, Karbi Anglong Plateau, and the North Kasar Hill. Subdivided into the Garo, Khashi, and the Jaintia Hills, rich in the mineral like the coal, limestone, and the uranium. Serapunji, heavy rainfall led to the extensive erosion and other rocky surface. Key features of the divisions. Deccan Plateau. The plateau is bordered by the western and the eastern Ghat and the Satpura Range. It includes the major uplift like the Michael and the Mahadev Hills. The Central Highland. Aravalli Range, one of the oldest fold mountain home to the river like the Sabarmati, Luni, and the Banas. Vindhya Range extend from Gujarat to Bihar in the Bolok Mountains, servicing Yamuna, but Jamuna tributaries like the Sambal, Sindh, and the Betua and Can. Malwa Plateau is a prominent part of the Central Highland, the historical known as the Kandwes. Northeastern Plateau, formed due to the northeastern movement of the Indian plate during the Himalaya uplift creating the Malda Gap between the Rasmore Hills and the Meghalaya Plateau. ये क्वेश्चन आया था यूपीएससी 2014 में. Seraponji is a part of the Meghalaya the fisheries bear the rock due to heavy monsoonal regions. In the Nokre Biosphere Reserve, Nokre is the highest peak of the Garo Hills situated on the Meghalaya Plateau. The Indian Desert, located at north west of the Aravalli Hills, also known as the Murusatali, undulating the topography with the longitudinal dunes, the bird sands and the sand repellents. Bird sands are the crescent ship dunes. The average annual rainfall below 150 millimeter per year, believed to have been the underwater during the Mesozoic era, evidence of which has been found in the wood fossil in the Aukal and the marine deposit near the Bormoshar near Joysalmar, estimate to be the 180 million year old. Akal Wood Fossil Peak is at the National Geographical Mountains of the Indian, located in the Joysalmar, Rajasthan. While the underlying rock structure is and the extension of the peninsular plateau surface features have been shaped by the physical weathering and wind accretion. The formated desert features include the mushroom rocks, the shifting the domes and oases primarily in the southern part. The rivers in the regions are the mostly ephemeral, with the Luni River being the largest in the region. The sums stream the beneath into the sand and the exhibit as inland drainage by the joining lakes or the pillars. The lakes and the pillars have the brackish water as the major source of the soil production. Western Ghat has been the various local name. Sahyadri in the Maharashtra, Nilgiri Hills in Karnataka and the Tamil Nadu, and the Aniyamalai Hills and Cardamom Hills, Malwar Coast in the Kerala. यूपीएससी ये भी क्वेश्चन आया था 2014 में. Higher in the elevation, the average the elevation about 1500 meter and more the continuous compared to the Eastern Ghat, with the highest increasing from north to south. Cover the 6 states: Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Goa, Maharashtra and Gujarat. ये क्वेश्चन आया था यूपीएससी में 2017 में. River the originating in the Western Ghat: Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri, etc. Peak: Anamuti, 2695 meters, highest peak of the peninsular plateau on the Aniyamalai Hills. Dodabetra, 2637 meters on Nilgiri Hills, highest peak of Tamil Nadu and the second highest peak of South India. Hills Station, Oti, Nilgiri Hills, the Munnar, the Anamalai Hills, Kodaikanal Plains Hills, Eastern Ghat, the consists of discontinuous and low hills due to the erosion by river. Passes through the Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu and part of the Karnataka and Telangana. Hill range north to south. Mahendragiri Hills Odisha, the highest peak in the Eastern Ghat. Nalamala Hills, the Sri Salam Temple. UPSC ये क्वेश्चन आया था 2015 में. Belikonda and the Palkonda, Andhra Pradesh. Zabadi Hills, Savoria Hills, Pasamala Hills, and the Sirumalla Hills. Eastern and the Western Ghat covers the Nilgiri Hills. Amarkan Hills are situated at the conflict of the Vindhya and the Satpura range. The uh, Biligirangana Hills is the hills range situated in Karnataka. Sasasalnan Hills, the Andhra Pradesh, are part of the Eastern Ghat. ये क्वेश्चन आया था यूपीएससी 2023 में. Sadhyamangalam Tiger Reserve (TN) Sadhyamangala Tiger Reserve situated in the key point between the Western and the Eastern Ghat. ये यूपीएससी में 2017 में आया था. Coastline plan. Indian extensive coastline can be broadly divided into two main regions: Western coastal plain and the Eastern coastal plain. The Iceland coastline plain and Western coastline plain. This plain have the submerged coastal plain, because of which it is the narrow belt and have the natural conditions the favorable for the development. The west coast of India is both the immerse and the submerged. The northern portions of the coast in the submerged as a result of the faulting, and the southern portions, that is the Kerala coast, is an example of the immerse coast. Division Kasas and the Kathiawar coast, Gujarat. Konkan coast, Maharashtra and Goa. Kananda coast, Karnataka, and the Malwar coast, Kerala. Noted the ancient city of the Dawaraka on the west coast in the submerged. Important natural port. Important natural port. Kandola, Mazagaon, JLN Port, Nabhaya Shiba, Marmango, Manangalar, Kosi, etc. The western coastline plain narrow in the middle and the bordered toward the north and south. Rivers do not form the deltas. Malwar coast is known for it is the Kailas. Backwaters used to the fishing and the tourism. The Nehru Trophy, Balamkale boat race is had in the Punnamandam Kayal in Kerala, Eastern Coastal Plain. These plains are the immense coast and are the bordered than the Western Coastal Plain. Coastline of the immense is formed either by the uplift of the land or the land or by the lowering of the sea level. Northern Sarkar is the northern part and the Coromandel coast in the southern part. While development deltas of the river Mahanandi, Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri deltas. Lake Silica, Odisha along the eastern coast is the largest salt water lake in the Indian lying the south of the Mahanandi Delta. Due to immense natural, there are the fewer port and the harbor. Along this coast, the continental shelf, yeah, the extent up to 500 kilometers into the sea, making it is the salient port development. The Iceland India has two major island group, one the Bay of Bengal and the other is Arabian Sea. The Iceland, Lakshadweep, Coral Island, 9 degrees Senel, Minicoy Coral Island, 8 degrees Senel, Maldives, and the Nicobar Island, dormant volcano, North Andaman and the Middle Andaman and South Andaman, Beryl Island and activity volcano, Great Andaman, the Deccan Place, the Deccan Pass, Little Andaman, 10 degrees Senel, Nicobar, Indra Point, Bay of Bengal Island, comprising approximately 572 islands that located between the 6 degree north to 14 degree north and 90 degree east to 94 degree east. Entire group are divided into two, the Andaman Island into the north and the Nicobar Island in the south. Sumatra is the geographical closest to the Great Nicobar. यूपीएससी 2017 में ये क्वेश्चन आया था. Other important the islet Research archipelago and the Labrianac Island. The Andaman Sea lies to the east and the Bay of Bengal to the west. These islands are the believed to be and the elevated portion of the submarine mountains, with some the smaller island being the volcanic. The feature the Barren Island, the only activities volcano in the India. The last time the volcanic eruptions were the reported and the linked to 28 September 2018 earthquakes in the Sulawesi, Indonesia. यूपीएससी 2018 में ये क्वेश्चन आया था. Mountain peak, Sadal Peak, North Andaman highest peak on the island. Mount Diavola 300 meter, Middle Andaman. Mount Koya 460 meter, South Andaman and the Mount Tiwolar 642 meter, Great Nicobar. Renamed Island, Rose Island, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose Island, Havelock Island, Swaraj Deep, Neil Island, and the Shohid Dwarf. These islands experience the conventional rainfall and have the equational vegetations. Arabian Sea Island. It includes the Lakshadweep and the Minicoy Island, located between the 8 degree north and the 12 degree north and the 71 degree east and 74 degree east. Entire the group the board from the coral deposit located off the coast of Kerala, formerly known as the Lakshadweep, Minicoy and the Amindip. They were the renamed and Lakshadweep in 1973. Minicoy in the largest island. Other island the Amini Island and the Kanwar Island. The eastern seaboard has the storm beaches with the pebbles, shingles, cobbles and the boulders. Channel and division. 9 degrees Channel, Minicoy Island and Lakshadweep archipelago. 10 degrees Channel, Andaman Nicobar and Andaman Island and Nicobar Island. ये क्वेश्चन यूपीएससी में 2014 में आया था. 11 degree Channel, Amendibi and the Konanor Island. Kannanor Island, Amendibi and Kannanor Island. Duncan Passes, South Great Andaman and the Little Andaman. S is York Channel, Little Nicobar and the Great Nicobar. Grand Channel, the Great Nicobar and the Sumatra Island, Indonesia. Identify the state and places. The state in Indian has the following the characteristics. One, it is the northern part of the arid and the semi-arid. It is the central part, the produced cotton. Three number, the cultivation of the cash crop or is predominant over the food crops. गुजरात, ये क्वेश्चन यूपीएससी में 2011 में आया था. Two important river, one with it is the source in the Jharkhand and known by the different name in Odisha, and another with the it is the source in the Odisha. Mars at the place only at a short distance from the coast of the Bay of Bengal before the falling into the sea. This is the important site of the wildlife and the biodiversity and the protected area. भितरकनिका यूपीएससी 2011 में आया था. A particular state in India has the following the characteristics. Number one, it is the located on the same the latitude which the passes through the northern Rajasthan. Two number is the it has the over the 80% of it is the area the under forest cover. Three number is the over the 12% of the forest cover the constitute constitute the protected area network in this state. अरुणाचल प्रदेश, ये क्वेश्चन यूपीएससी 2012 में आया था. In the particular regions in the Indian, the local people strands the roads and the living trees into the robust breeders across the stream. As the time passes, this the breeds become the stronger. This unique living root breeds are the found in Meghalaya. ये क्वेश्चन यूपीएससी में 2015 में आया था. At one of the places in India, if the eastern one of the seashore and towards the sea, you will find that the sea water recede from the shoreline the few kilometer and comes back to the shore twice a day, and you can't actually walk on the sea floor when the water recedes. This the unique the phenomena is the sea at सांदीपुर उड़ीसा. ये यूपीएससी 2017 में आया था. थैंक यू सो मच. तो कल ह्यूमन जियोग्राफी के और भी एक चैप्टर पढ़ूंगा. तो ड्रेनेज सिस्टम ये नेक्स्ट वीडियो में आएगा. थैंक यू सो मच. थैंक यू.